true positive or false positive. So we can't just depend on one parameter. In that case, what we need to do is that we need to, as I told, and that from the repetition point of view, we got, okay, 2 out of 87, it says malicious. Then we need to figure out, okay, what's the creation date. So let's say it was created just 1 day or 2 days back. So it will again add to a confidence that that this website might be malicious. So that's one thing. So now once we have a confidence value, the other thing that can be done is that what you can do is, let's say, okay, give me 1 second. I will just quickly plug my charger. So this is very good question. So just give me 1 second. Yes. Okay, so the question is that, okay, you got a website and only 2 of the domain antivirus is showing it's malicious, then how will proceed further? So one of the things is definitely, as I told, first thing you have done is reputation. The next check that you need to do is the age check. So let's say you got, like it says, like only 2 days back it was registered. So what you can do is that it will add to a confidence that, okay, it might be true positive with a higher confidence. And let's say for an example, only one antivirus is telling it as malicious. Let's say for this domain, only one. Okay, but now you see the creation date is like, let's say 1 year back. 1 year back. Okay, now it will add to a confidence that this website is indeed not malicious. Why? Because in 1 year, all these antiviruses are doing their checks. Okay, and it won't be a thing that, okay, that only one antivirus will detect that as malicious. There will be more than one which will be kind of detecting that as malicious. So we need to always combine that that reputation as well as a check. Okay, but let's suppose that, okay, the hits were for 2 and the date was like 1 day back when it was registered. Okay, now the other thing that you can do is that you now know what's the IP address from which had actually made that DNS query. Okay, which had actually made that DNS query. You know the IP address of that, and now suppose that with that IP address you were able to pinpoint the computer that made that DNS query. Okay, now what you can do is that you can kind of search in the computer which software or which malware or which let's say which software made that query for you. So one of the thing can be done is, like, let's say netstat. Okay, let's say you are having this data with you, so you can quickly say that, okay, let's say there was one process. So it says like you need to do, let's say, -anp. Okay, so let's say there was one process like this, and it will tell you that, okay, this is the process name, and this is the process PID. Like 732 is the PID of this process, and the process name is system D, for example. And let's say it will tell you that, okay, this process was making a request to that website. For example, this one. Okay, now you see that, okay, over here the Firefox is making from this port number is making a request to 34.117.65, for example. Okay, so in similar manner, what you can do is that you can kind of figure out, okay, what process is kind of trying to log in, make a connection to that website. Okay, and that's where what you do is that now you kind of do an investigation of that process, or how that process came into the system. You got the PID value, you have to try to see what's the parent ID of that, who started that process and all. So those all things will again you will be moving out from the network forensics part to the malware forensics part actually over here. Okay, so this is one of the way by which you can do that. The other thing that, let's say, I normally also do is, let's say the netstat ANP data is not available. Let's say that the alert came up was 1 day old. In that case, the netstat ANP will not hold that data for you. because it is almost real time. So in that case, what you can do is that one of the things that I do, and most of the time it is very successful, is that let's say I created few files. Let's say I say eco q1, and let's say q2, and let's see two files are created, q1, q2, and let's say I created another file, and over there, let's say I have given this domain somewhere. Okay, let's say something like this. What we do is control X, and this q2, let's say q3. So now let's say you are investigating a computer, and you have different kind of files in that, and files can be malicious or not malicious, and you want to find out that, okay, which is the file, let's say I am now over here, ls. So there are a lot of files over here, and you want to know that, okay, which file did made the communication to this domain, which is the malicious one. Okay, so most of the time what happens, malware will have that as a strings inside that. Okay, so what you can do is actually you can do, okay, just give me 1 second, let me just find that command for you. Give me 1 second, guys. So one of the things that we can do is we can initiate a search. Okay, that will kind of, what it will do is that it will go through each of the file. It will go through each of the file, and it will search like if any of that file has this domain embedded in that. Okay, and how we can do that? Let's say we are in desktop folder. How we can do that? We can say find, and let's say we say dot, where dot means the current working folder, which is desktop folder. Okay, we do that, and then we say the type. Type is the file, so we will say type is f, which is a file. Okay, and then what we tell is that get all the files from the current working directory. Okay, get all the files from the current working directory in a recursive manner. Okay, so it will have all these files, plus it will also create the files which is inside this pcap folder, which is also inside the jig docker folder. Okay, so it will try to get that, and then what I will tell is that once you have those list of files, try to search for this string, and what the string is, this is the string, for example. Okay, and this will actually work a lot of time for you guys. Okay, so just use this kind of thing this way. Okay, and when you do that, it will actually try to find, and if you see over here, it says that the q2 file that is inside the pcap folder has this domain inside this. Okay, in similar manner, the w-.py file has this domain inside that. Okay, so now what you do is that you can quickly know, rather than going to the files one by one, what you can do is that I will just paste this out over here.
So can you share this command?
Yes, and that's the only thing I'm doing. What you can do is that. Okay, so what you can do, you can use this command, and I will say like this command is not something that is just working for the lab environment. It has actually helped me in kind of multiple different kind of incidents. Okay, where I just search for a domain, and luckily, let's say any of the file has that string inside that, it will quickly highlight me in a recursive way. If there any file which has this domain inside that. So now we know that. Okay, if we do a tree over here, tree is not installed, but let's say apt install tree. So let me just do that. Okay, now let's do clear and let's do tree. So now you see in the tree command, it is telling me that, okay, desktop has this many files, it has a folder which has another files, Then there is jig folder, which has multiple files inside this. It has another subfolder